Welcome to CKLA Lesson 8, Unit 3 of Skills. Our learning targets for today are to read words with different spellings of the O sound. So remember, so far we've talked about the OE and the OA. We're going to sort words with the O sound by their spelling. And we're going to ask and answer questions about key details in the story, The Swimming Sisters. Now let's practice hearing the different sounds or the different ways that the O sound is made. So when you have the typical ah sound, so your short O, it makes the ah sound. So everybody say ah. Now the O-E, O-A, those O sounds are going to be that long vowel O. So make the O sound. O. Remember that the focus of this unit is on vowel sounds and their spellings. Okay, so let's look at these two trees. On the left side, we have the ah tree, which is the short O. You see the short O a lot in words. Then we have the O sound, which is the long O. And we're going to figure out where our leaves go. The first word, hot. Now, does this make the ah sound or the O sound? It makes the ah sound. Good. So we would put the word hot on the tree to your left, the one that has the ah sound, the short O. Cot. Which side will we put cot? Would that be the short O or the long O? Good. It would be the short O. So we're going to put cot. We put it over here to the left. What about this word? This is OA in the middle of the word. What does OA say in the middle of the word? It says O, right? So this word is road. We would put this one on the tree on the right, one with the long O. The word clock. Clock. Is it our short O or our long O? Good. It would go to the short O, the one to the left. What about this word? Can you tell me this word? Good. It's toast. So which tree would toast go on? It would go on the long O, the one on the right. What about the word got? It's your short O, right? It says ah. So we're going to put it to the one with the one on the left. Boat. It's your long O, right? What's this word? Foam. Okay, now look at this one. Would that be ah or O? It's ah, right? What's the word? Stop. So it's going to go with the one on the left. Sound this word out. Read it aloud. Grown. It's our long O, so it's going to go to the tree on the right. Let's review the spelling for the O by reading words from these branches. O consonant E, OA, and OE. Today we're going to focus on that tricky spelling. This is where the O sound is made with just the letter O. So like in the word open. Open, the O in open says its name. It makes the long vowel sound. Now let's practice reading some words with the different O spelling. Hotel. It's one of those tricky words, tricky spelling of O. Moment. Program. Let's take this one and segment it. So let's touch spell it. B-O-N-U-S. Bonus. Touch spell this one and tell me what this one says. O-S-T-E-R. Poster. You know this one? O-E says O, poet. Now this one, your O says it's long sound alone, so you hear that E in there, so listen to it. Poet. So you kind of hear a poet. You hear that E with the T. it. This one has two O's. So both of those O's are going to make their own O sound. Polo. Now you have the A alone. What does A alone say? With that other vowel, it's going to say A. Halo. Open. Omit. Over. Okay, now you can you're going to look in your workbook for worksheet that's titled Word Sort. It is page 45 in your workbook. So you can pause the video and look for page 45. It says Word Sort at the top. It also has 8.1 at the top. Okay, so on 8.1 or page 45, we're going to be sorting these O sounds based on which way the O sound is made. So you have a column for O, OA, OE, and O consonant E. Now be sure when you pick which column for each one of these to go into that you check them off or you circle them as you use them. So right now we've got an example for each column. So the first column with the O, we've used the word go. So find the word go at the top in your word bank and circle it. So that way we know we've used it. The next one is a foal. Find it at the top of your page and circle it. Toe. Find the word toe, it's your OE, that says O, and circle it. And the last one that's been done for us is bone, which is O consonant E. So circle the word bone. Okay, so make sure each time you find the word and you write it down that you circle it or check it off. Now we are going to read a story titled The Swimming Sisters. And if you look in your packet on page 49, you will see the story titled The Swimming Sisters. So you can find it now. Now the next series of stories is about two sisters, Kim and Val Castro, who swim. Now you're going to be comparing these two characters today. The word series means there's more than one of something. So this will be the first story in the series that we're going to read. So there's more to come. Now, if we take out the book, the Kids Excel, or if we looked on our Amplify, on our Clever, you could go to the library, find your table of contents, and we're going to look for the story in Kids Excel that's titled The Swimming Sisters. And excel means to do really well at something. Okay, there are different types of water sports. Some people practice fancy dives into the water. Some teams dance in the water. And some play games like water polo. These stories are about sisters who race in the water, trying to swim the fastest. The races are different lengths. So they're racing each other. Now, before we read, let's look at some of our A sounds. Now, these are words that you're going to see in the story. So let's read them. Let's start with our AY first. Sunday, say. And why is Sunday capitalized? Because it's a day of the week. It's a proper noun. Look at your AIs. Remember, AI. All of these are going to say A, AY, and AI. Okay, let's read our AI words. Training, weighted. Now look at the next column. You have O consonant E. What is that O going to say in O consonant E? It's going to say O, right? So the first word is notes. The next word is wrote. Okay, now let's look at our ER, our extra words, our tricky words. We've got who, are, one, we. Now look at your multi-syllable words. So these are bigger words, but we know how to break these words apart. As long as you can read those sections or syllables, you can put it together to make the full word. Okay, the first one is their last name, which is Castro. The O in Castro is just going to say O. It's one of those tricky spellings. Do you recognize one of the words in the second word? Speed, right? So let's sound that one out. Speed, st, s, speedsters. And we've got Sunday. Sunday's capitalized again. It's a day of the week. Training, weighted, and faster. Now look at weighted. Weighted, it's happening in the past because it has ed at the end of it. Faster, you're comparing two things. So if something is faster than something else, you're comparing it to another thing. Now some vocabulary that you may need to know before you start reading your story. A meet, this is what they call a competition for swimmers. So if they're going to a meet, this is what a meet would look like. It's people competing in a certain area with swimming. Now a sprint, like if you run a sprint, you're running as fast as you can for a certain distance. So a sprint with swimming would be swimming as fast as you can for a certain distance. 50 free. 50 free would be 50 yards in a swimming pool in any style as fast as possible to win. So a football field is 100 yards. So think this would be half the length of a football field. Now swim laps. Laps would be like if you were running around a track, if you were racing with running, that would be like how many times you go around the track. So swim laps would be back and forth from one side of the pool to the other. Now take a minute to predict what you think the Swimming Sisters is going to be about. So do you, like with some of this extra knowledge that you know with vocabulary, what do you think they're going to be doing? What do you think they're going to be competing over? You think it's just going to be speed? Maybe doing a 50-yard dash? Okay, now you're going to find someone at home and you're going to partner read the Swimming Sisters. So you can either read a sentence and then they read a sentence, or you can read to them, or you could take turns reading, but you both need to read and someone at home needs to listen to you read. If you can read it on your own to someone, that's totally fine too. So you're going to pause the video and read the Swimming Sisters. Okay, now that you have finished the Swimming Sisters, you are going to look for page 47 in your packet. And page 47 is a Venn diagram. And what a Venn diagram does is it compares two things. So here you're going to compare Kim to Val. Now, you've probably done one of these Venn diagrams in the past. If you have, you know that the things that will match Kim go on only Kim's circle. But if it's something that is for Kim and Val both, so maybe it's something that they both did, you'll put in that center part where the circle overlaps. So you're going to use the word bank. You've got 6 different things, 6 different things that could describe each person, and you're going to put them into the Venn diagram. Then you're going to complete the comprehension page 51 and 52 on the back with the story that you read. Now when you complete the comprehension page, you can use the passage to help you. So those words that you're writing, if it's a written response, make sure you spell them correctly if they're in the passage, because you're using that passage as text evidence to help you. Our learning targets for today are to read words with different spellings of the O sound. So remember, so far we've talked about the OE and the OA. We're going to sort words with the O sound by their spelling. And we're going to ask and answer questions about key details in the story, The Swimming Sisters.